In the beginning, there was but nothing. A seemingly endless void with scope, extreme potential, and possibility far past anything you or I could even conceive. There, within a swirling flux of existence, lied a planet, a freckle placed on the visage of the infinite frontier. The land, fertile. The breeze, blowing. The rails? I don't know, maybe a little janky. There's not so much run-up, and it has more kinks than a millennial on social media. Then, a bunch of rad dudes got together and thought to themselves, hey, let's shred this shit up! Radlandia was created by 5 skate gods who shake the land with sick tricks and insane combos, skate bender style. They each created a section of Radlandia in their own perfect skate image, so there's a little fun for everyone. They achieved Gnarvana, and now they await a new skate wizard to find them and join them. Imagine I did the whole video like that. OlliOlli World is the third entry in the OlliOlli series from London developer Roll7. They're a pretty fascinating studio with an interesting gallery of games. I suggest you check out the other OlliOlli titles and Not a Hero if you get a chance. At this point I feel like I'm repeating myself, but you know, if it involves skateboarding, I'm gonna give it a fair shake. I'm already well acquainted with the OlliOlli series. I got my first taste when OlliOlli 2, Welcome to Olliwood, came to the PS4 in 2015. The first thing that comes to mind with OlliOlli is that it's fast, like really fast. Fast to the point that there's a warning right in the beginning to switch your TV to game mode. Because of this, it's so damn hard to look for anything that isn't your skater. The scrolling speed makes it near impossible to concentrate on the background or even really any point of interest in the level. This might have always been an issue with OlliOlli, but it's one of the things I never noticed until this entry. It may also just have to do with my aging eyes, I don't know. You learn to live with it after a while, I guess, but it does get tough when your rolling character is a point of focus. It actually reminds me a bit of 2D Sonic the Hedgehog in that way. The trick system vaguely resembles the Flick It system from EA's popular Skate series. Much like these games, the players flick the stick to execute tricks, but given that this is a side-scroller, it feels and plays very differently. For a skater and game enthusiast, it's a lot of fun seeing low-key inspiration from other games and see how they implement these things differently. The series also features a holdover function from 1999's Thrasher Presents Skate and Destroy. Thrasher featured an unlockable expert mode where the player has to hit the square button after executing a trick to know the landing, and failing to do so leaves you open to sketchy landings or even bails. Roll7 creative director John Ribbons is also a fan of Skate and Destroy and spoke about what kind of influence the title had when creating OlliOlli 2. Thrasher had a bunch of stuff in it that we really wanted to do with OlliOlli. There's a lot about the game that I loved, and as a skater it always felt to me like the truest skateboarding game. Which of course I agree, Thrasher is one of my favorite games of all time. So I'm glad to see this game find some roots in classic skating games. From a title that seems to be beloved from the underground but really didn't get much traction considering it came out a month after Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Really bad time to release it. OlliOlli World narrowly improves the series formula while giving it a brand new coat of paint and a dynamic new sense of motion. The new aesthetic is, above all else, adorable. It's like a pastel saccharine dream. Pastels always remind me of ice cream, and the color palette really reflects that well. It looks like a scoop of Neapolitan. It toes a line between washed out tones and delicately saturated hues. It's really a feast for the eyes and a big upgrade from the pixel art of previous entries. I feel like for the most part the first 2 games fell under a lot of people's radars, and I think the art style and world really upped its game and got some eyes on the project. It's also like vaguely reminiscent of the 80s skate scene. The only thing it's really missing is like day glow neon colors and knee pads. Oh, never mind, they totally have knee pads. I was really enamored by the charm and execution of the game. I also immensely enjoyed the unique take on the skate game genre from the overall franchise. Most skate games fall under one of 3 categories. You've got the more realistic skateboard sims like ERRRskate, Session, or Skater XL, the arcade combo heavy Tony Hawk Pro Skater style games and their numerous clones, and side-scrolling runner type games like Skate City and Epic Skater. There are even overlaps to the ambitious yet utterly lacking Skateboard with the wild color palettes and charming character interactions. OlliOlli stylishly integrates a bit of everything into its bones with a stick-reliant trick system, extreme combo sensibilities, and some good old-fashioned side-scrolling charm. Chiffon, the current skate wizard, is looking for someone to take her place, and that, my dear player, is where you come in. You're a blank slate of a skater, looking to make a name for yourself and skate everything Radlandia has to offer, of which there is plenty. The story's pretty basic, but even a loose story structure is new to OlliOlli, and it's just so quirky that even the little we get is a nice welcome. It's way out there and it feels like something ripe for a cartoon. You quickly meet a colorful cast of characters in the game. Chief among them are Chiffon, Gnarly Mike, Rad Dad, no relation, and Suze, the best filmer in Radlandia. They're your guides to the sights and spots of Radlandia and help you every step of the way, whether it be teaching you new techniques, giving you the lay of the land, or connecting you with other skaters along the way. If you played the first 2 OlliOlli games, this one will feel very familiar. The mechanics are mostly the same. You use the stick to flick tricks, catch grinds, A to land, and manual, but spins have been tweaked to make them more usable, and there are a slew of new mechanics to learn and conquer. Wall rides, transition skating, firecrackers, late flips, and crystal smashing grabs are chief among the new gameplay features and all help towards big scores and combos. Late flips are extremely cool because they feel like one of the most seamless ways to integrate more tricks into your combos, plus I think they look super awesome. My least favorite of the new additions are definitely the crystals. In order to smash through them, you have to do grab tricks or you'll crash right into them. It's a clever way to make the player integrate grab tricks into their repertoire and switch it up, but I also feel like they have one of the bigger margins for error in the game. Anytime I've ever fallen, it's always because I haven't let go of the stick soon enough. Firecrackers are also a total game changer and sort of a get out of jail free card because in the previous games, if you touched theirs, it was just game over. The tutorials for these features and other gameplay mechanics are spread throughout the land, perhaps a bit too much for my liking. If I weren't already familiar with the bulk of OlliOlli's gameplay, the pacing would have frustrated me a bit more. As is, we're learning new techniques well into the 5th overworld, and it takes a ton of work just to get to that point, so I see a bunch of people falling off long before that. The controls are deceptively dense. There's a lot of room for play and experimentation for those willing to learn the ins and outs. The levels are vast and varied, and while they all use many of the same elements, no two are anywhere near identical. In a way, they're the true stars of the game. They're bustling and have so many moving parts it can be hard to keep up. The levels are also very emblematic of their overworlds, just thematically perfect. Cloverbrook is filled to the brim with woodsy goodness, Burnt Rock is a harsh desert filled with aliens and all kinds of bullshit, and Sketchside is an industrial wonderland. I think it might be my favorite of the set. Some of the levels even have sections where they go in the opposite direction. Previous titles kept the side-scrolling basic left to right, but now you go in, out, around, or over everything. Most levels have divergent paths to add even more challenge and variety by giving you a gnarly path. The gnarly path will often be more challenging and require more precision and perfection than the regular path, though in my experience that wasn't always the case. And they can sneak up on you instantly too. It's pretty rad. Switching lanes, catching different rails, and wall rides can take you along different routes, so play the levels often and find all the possible routes. The game also hides characters and side quests this way, creating several branching paths and gives the game some serious depth and replayability. It gets hella gnarly, and some levels demonstrate just how many moving parts are in fantastic ways. There are several objectives in each level, including checkpoint free runs, doing whatever Gnarly Mike throws at you, and hitting certain point requirements to impress and gain favor from the locals. When all is said and done, the stars of the show are insane trick combos that create ridiculous scores. Rivals are also a fun new addition. When you complete a level, the game will take your score, find a rival with a comparable, slightly higher score, and task you with not only improving yours, but blowing theirs out of the water. It's a neat way to constantly drive you to up your game. To achieve super high scores in OlliOlli World, you have to master the gameplay. The keys to scoring big are utilizing high scoring flip tricks, grind and flip often, late flip when possible, modify your grinds, as in locking a grind, flicking the right stick to switch it up, learn the levels. Each level is pretty unique and throw all sorts of configurations of paths at you. Perfect landings everywhere and anywhere you can get them to maintain your speed, and combo the entire level. Those level long combos are the main key here and can be the biggest challenge. That can't be overstated because it's so important. The game has a wide variety of tricks, including normal ones like kick flips, heel flips, 360 flips, etc. Then it has off the wall shit like strawberry milkshake, 720 flips and the like, and are denoted by bright yellow text in the trick indicator box. OlliOlli World is certainly a strong and all-out fun title, but I do have some issues. Most of my issues are probably more points of personal contention as opposed to genuine criticism, so take them with a grain of salt. When you're speaking to the gang, they move in what looks like 15 frames per second, and it seems like a stylistic choice because everything else on the screen moves at a normal speed. It's a bit odd to me just because it looks so visually disparate and jarring, and for such a fluid and beautifully animated game, it just stands out in an odd way. The bail animations are also tame in comparison to the previous games. You could roll and roll and roll forever until you hit something that would stop you. This is all sort of gun-to-head criticism. Nothing about these issues I have really ruined the game in any capacity. I just wanted them to be known. My biggest issue is the lack of nollie, or a nollie off the nose of the board, which is just frustrating because OlliOlli 2 very much had nollie and fakie tricks, and it feels like a step backward to completely leave them out. The button to do nollie tricks has been replaced with a skip track function, which doesn't necessarily feel like a vital function to me. I don't know, call me crazy. Though that kind of segues me into the soundtrack. As a series, OlliOlli has a tradition of using heady, ambient electronic music, and this one's no different. It's pretty perfect for the game, but not necessarily stuff I'd listen to outside of it. Roll 7 knows what kind of vibe they want for the series, and they stick to it, and I respect that. Though I also in fact commend them for stepping outside of traditional spaces when compiling their soundtracks. Most skate games tend to lean on punk and hip-hop stuff, and frankly it's just nice to see the dynamics switched up for a change. They also seem to have gotten rid of Welcome to Hollywood's Rad Mode, a set of next level challenges where timing is key and landings are required to succeed. Maybe there'll be some Rad Mode add-ons in future DLC. I see this one going places and I wouldn't count it out. In lieu of Rad Mode, there's a function that'll procedurally generate endless levels based on basic user-given parameters to keep the fun going. I kinda like the finite and challenging nature of the levels they made, so it's not really a mode I indulge in too often. On the surface, OlliOlli World is a fast, cutesy little skate runner with a pleasant aesthetic and style for miles. Beneath that is a complex and rewarding game that rivals and matches other skateboarding games despite doing things so differently. Pick it up if you need that skate game bone tickled. It's on every platform. Seriously, it's on every platform. It's ridiculous. It's everywhere. You have no excuse.